In the year 1952, an author by the name of Ray Bradbury wrote a wonderful short story named A Sound of Thunder. Before we move forward, we have to tell you that this is a fiction. But the story is, you pay money to this company and they take you back in time during the dinosaur ages. The main character in this story is a man named Eccles. He goes to the company and pays them $10,000 and they take him millions of years back in time. Before the people are taken back in time, they are warned to not do anything and not touch anything. You just walk the path that's set up. If you do anything, even the smallest mistake, it could alter the future. Even if you touch a cockroach, something ginormous could go wrong. When Eccles is walking the path, he's confronted with the dinosaur, and you could say he felt scared to death. That's why he runs away towards the camp they came in. He didn't touch anything. He just stays put until the others return so they can get back in time with the time machine. But when they return to the present time, they see everything is different. The people that are there talk really weird. The writings look a little different. And some strange smell is in the environment. Eccles thinks to himself that it was probably him and he did something. He looks everywhere in his body and he realizes he didn't bring anything from the past. But whenever he lifts his shoe, he realizes that there is a beautiful butterfly at the bottom of his shoe. So killing a butterfly millions of years ago made huge differences in the present time. This is the story of the butterfly effect. Everybody thinks huge events around the world cause huge things to happen, like earthquakes, floods, atomic bombs, tsunamis. But small events are very important. A small butterfly could leave its marks on the whole universe. The butterfly effect idea came into picture in the 1950s by the mathematician Edward Lorenz. The idea is exactly what we just told you guys. Something really small could make a huge difference. Edward Lorenz was a mathematician and he was obsessed with weather, and he wanted to use mathematics to predict what the weather is going to be like. Whatever method, idea he used to figure this out, he couldn't. One time in the middle of his work, he gets tired and decides to get a cup of coffee. He gets the coffee, and when he returns, he finally figured it out, and he actually solved the equation he was looking for. He believes just because of that cup of coffee, the problem finally got solved. Edward Lorenz did not realize, but with this, he created a new way of thinking. He realized that when you can't solve a problem, turn around and look at it differently. Butterfly effect basically says any small thing that happens could have a huge mark in the real world. And when something huge take place, a lot of little things had to happen. You could look at different things that happen in the world like dominoes. One thing happens and the next thing happens. There is a theory called the chaos theory, and the butterfly effect that we're telling you guys is part of the chaos theory. A lot of people think that small things that happen are by accident, but this theory says it's not that simple. Let's play the chaos game. We create 3 dots like a triangle, and we put ABC on each dot. We put a dot in a random spot on this triangle. Measure that dot to B and put a dot exactly in the middle. And from that dot, measure it from A and put a dot in the middle of that. And do the same thing with the C point. Just continue to do this. Something that you started with a random dot is creating something very organized. This game showed us that the accidental dot in the middle of this triangle created a giant structure that's very organized. In science, you hear a lot about predictions. They predicted this, they predicted that. But the butterfly effect tells you that you cannot predict anything. When a small dot that's accidentally put in place creates something like this, it truly shows us that we don't know anything. The butterfly effect truly shows us that we are nothing and don't know what we're doing. Jonas Salk was a virologist, and in the 1950s, he successfully created a vaccine for polio. We're not gonna talk about how Jonas Salk figured out this vaccine, but what we're gonna say, when Jonas Salk created this vaccine, it changed the entire world. If this vaccine wasn't created, we would be living in a whole different world. If this vaccine wasn't created, a lot of famous people that invented stuff right now would not be alive today. Like imagine Elon Musk's dad got polio and Elon Musk was never born. If you've seen our video about the Cuban Missile Crisis, you'll know that the world was seconds away from ending. But a man by the name of Vasily Arkhipov did not hit the launch button, and the atomic bombs are not launched. A lot of events had to take place for Vasily to not push that button, and the world did not end because of that. The butterfly effect never says to take every little thing that happens seriously, because our way of life is not built for that. So many small things happen around us that we just can't process every single one. Even if our brain power is enough, we are just human. We can't prevent a lot of things that happens around us. Our minds can't even figure out if this little thing happened, it's gonna lead to something positive or negative. When you watch this video, or listen to music, or go for a walk, or like Edward Lawrence, you go get a cup of coffee, with all these small things, you could change your life completely. Like for example, you're listening to a song, and your next door neighbor who is a girl is also listening to that exact song. That song might make you want to talk to her, get to know her, marry her, and have a family. Just because you wanted to listen to a song, your life completely changed. Pay attention to that song for a second. If the singer didn't sing that song and the beat maker didn't create that beat, this song would not be produced and this family would not be created. This song is just an example. When you compile a lot of things that happen around the world, it will create huge events. Billions of years ago, the universe was formed. Stars and planets were created. A solar system was formed that one of the planets was Earth. On Earth, life was created. Hundreds of millions of years later, we get to 2023. The year you guys have a computer, have internet, speak English, and you're on YouTube watching this video. All these events that happened one after the other made you and I meet on YouTube. So not everything that happens in your life is accidental. Let's say I'm driving and I get in a car crash. This wasn't completely accidental. A lot of things happened before this accident took place. I wasn't paying attention. My tires were completely bald. The other guy was drunk, and a lot of other things happened. They all worked together and caused this accident. This is exactly what the butterfly effect is talking about. Never forget this. If something small happens, it could lead to something huge.